Hi, welcome to Whiskey Move. I'm Matt, and in today's episode, which I'm super excited about, we are going to be doing one of the greatest cocktails of all time, probably my favorite, the Negroni. But first we're going to go over its predecessor, the Americano, which started quite a bit earlier. But there's such a rich history here, it just really gets me excited. So, the history. In the mid to late 1800s, in Milan, there was a bar that was serving a drink called the Milan Torino. And it was called the Milan Torino because of its equal parts Campari and sweet vermouth. Campari because it came from Milan, and sweet vermouth that is in the style of Torino. So they would have those equal parts, and then they would fill the remainder of the glass with soda water. At the time, there was a lot of American tourism going through the area, and they really didn't like the flavor and bitterness that came from the Campari. So they started to serve it up in a highball glass so they could have a greater measure of soda water to dilute and offset some of the bitterness that can be found in the Campari. But we're just going to make it the lowball way just because lowball's always better, I think, my opinion. So the recipe. Like we said before, we are doing equal parts Campari and sweet vermouth. We're going to fill the glass with soda water and we're going to throw a lemon wheel in for garnish. So let's do an ounce of Campari, followed by an ounce of sweet vermouth. I love sweet vermouth. We're going to get the soda water just to finish it out. Stir that through a bit. And we're going to get a lemon wheel to throw it in as garnish. Voila, you have the Americano. So that's the Americano. A little bit sweet, a little bit bitter, bit of a refreshing, well-balanced drink all round. But 60 years later, the greatest cocktail of all time was born, the Negroni. The thing that makes this cocktail so incredibly fascinating is that its origin story is so widely debated. But my favorite is that Count Camillo Negroni in 1920 went to a cafe in Florence, went up to the bartender, Fosco Scarselli, and said, "Mate, the Americano is good and all, but I need something that's probably going to knock me out. Let's replace the soda water for another equal part of gin." And so that's what they did. But again, this story is pretty controversial because you have the Negroni line and their family and they're saying that Count Camillo never existed, but then there are some historical letters being addressed to him saying don't have 20 Negronis in one day. So it's all very muddled and controversial, but the story about Count Camillo is fascinating, to be honest, and I applaud the guy whether he existed or not. And now for the recipe. Like the Americano, we have equal parts Campari and sweet vermouth, but instead of the soda water that was used, we do gin. So we are going to do an ounce of all three, and we're going to stir it in this mixing glass, and we're going to pour it over a solid rock, this nice clear rock. We are going to be using 1 ounce of this 4 Pillars Spice Negroni gin, just because that spice really cuts through on this one and it just tastes absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to do an ounce of that. Pour it in. I'm going to do an ounce of Campari. I'm going to do an ounce of sweet vermouth. Then we're going to throw some ice in there. You're going to stir it for about 30 seconds to let that dilute because it's a very strong drink. It's terribly strong, but it's also the best. You're going to strain this into a Negroni glass over a nice clear rock. So now we're going to garnish it with a little bit of orange rind. We're going to express orange oil over the top, rub it around the glass, and chuck that in, and boom, you've got a miracle. And now for the tasting. First we'll start with the Americano. You definitely have the bitter and sweet from the Campari and sweet vermouth. I don't know if I'm too much of a fan of the soda water. I'm just never been a soda water guy. Now the Negroni. It's definitely so much more of a richness to this. The bitterness, the sweet with the spice and the gin really cutting through. That really makes up for what that's lacking. So we have Count Camillo being an obvious genius and doing great work. Keep it up. Oh, he's dead. Yeah, that sucks, but he really did this thing well. Thank you, Count. And that's it for today's video. 2 amazing drinks, both classics, but 1 clear winner. Like and subscribe for more content, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for stopping by.